Move over, Skittles and Mountain Dew. Texas wants to label you as not recommended for human consumption.
Wow. Okay.
That seems like a stretch to me. Like, I'm pretty sure Skittles and Mountain Dew are marketed to humans. So
Yeah.
who is supposed to be the recommended consumer?
Good question.
It is a good question. So the Texas Senate Bill 25, which has been backed by Secretary of Health and Human Services, good old RFK Jr., because we know how great he is, it is now awaiting the signature of Governor Greg Abbott. Okay. And basically, foods containing certain ingredients would require warning labels on new packaging beginning in 2027 in order to be sold in Texas, which, by the way, is the second most populous U.S. state with an estimated 31 million residents. Okay. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting. The bill lists more than 40 ingredients. Okay. These are the ones that if a product contains one of these, it has to have this new label on it. Okay. And some of these ingredients, of course, include synthetic dyes. I'm surprised it didn't say petroleum based dyes and bleached flour. Okay. Now, many, but not all, of the additives on this list are banned or require warnings in other countries. Now, what they're talking about is in the European Union, there are some products, specifically ones that contain, like, titanium dioxide, that they have to have a warning label. Now, it does not say not recommended for human consumption. It says that eating this product may lead to some adverse health effects. Doesn't actually list what they are. I think it might say may cause hyperactivity in children, but it's kind of vague. Very, very much reminds me of the Prop 65, which is the California warning that tells everybody that this product may affect your fertility. Okay. And which is kind of funny because I always think of, is California so overwhelmingly populated, they're worried about people and their fertility? Is that why Prop 65 happened? I know there's more to that proposition, but the first line I always read is that it may adversely affect your fertility. Okay, so that to me, usually what's at the top is the most important. Okay, so anyway, back to the Texas one. Okay, if approved, this new warning label, the impact on the packaged food industry could be far reaching. Okay, because when companies are forced to comply with state regulations, they often opt to adopt the changes nationwide. Hence why, we live in Georgia, but you still see on the backs of different things the Prop 65 thing, even though I'm not in. This one actually doesn't have it. Interesting. My orzo pasta apparently doesn't have arsenic or anything funky in it. Good to know.
Wait. Why do you have pasta by your computer?
That's another story. Anyhow. Anyways. Now, this could mark one of the most substantive victories for the whole Make America Healthy Again movement and basically help JFK Jr. Okay?
Yes.
Now, Governor Abbott, this is a quote unquote from his press secretary.
Sorry, I went fuzzy. Let me fix it. Maybe?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. All right, cool.
Now, Governor Abbott, this is according to his press secretary, the governor will continue to work with legislature to ensure Texans have access to healthy foods to care for themselves and their families, and will thoughtfully review any legislation they send to his desk. So that seems very bland in nature there. Now, if Abbott signs the bill, this is a quote, he will go down as a historical figure as the man who broke the food industry's back on these chemicals. Now, you'll never guess who said this quote. Vani Hari, also known as the Food Babe. She is a wellness influencer on social media who is part of the MAHA movement, and why this, food, she's a wellness influencer. She sells products. She just got her own, I think it's protein powder and stuff like that. She makes money off of fear mongering about food. She's the quote unquote respectable source here, which anyway, she also stated this is something that will spawn incredible change within the food industry. Okay. Now, the bill contains a possible backup plan. Okay. If either the Food and Drug Administration or the Department of Agriculture, so FDA or USDA, deem an ingredient safe, restrict its use, including by adding their own warning label, or if they ban it outright after September 1st, Texas's own label for that ingredient won't be required. Okay. Okay. Well, we already know that the synthetic dye ban, not a real ban, no legislation, no law. So I think they're kind of talking about that, or at least about the Red 3 ban, which may take a very long time to actually be put into law. Now, it also states if the federal government mandates labeling for ultra processed or processed foods, that would also supersede Texas's required labels. Okay. Now, a lot of this goes to the fact that normally federal law trumps state law. And that's basically what they're stating here. Now, but if the FDA, which falls under Kennedy's jurisdiction, doesn't declare the listed ingredients as safe or offer new qualifications for its use, the warnings would be required for new food labels developed and copyrighted starting in 2027. Now, I am not a lawyer. I am not a politician. But that sounds to me like any product that's not currently in existence right now. So this would not apply to legacy products. This would be all new products developed after 2027. Okay. So a little strange. And it says, while some of the ingredients slated for warnings, such as that titanium dioxide in bleached flour, are more highly regulated in other countries, okay, like the emulsifier DATEM, they also have less stringent regulations. Okay. So basically, they're stating that these warning labels that are put on other countries, yes, they're quote unquote highly regulated, but they also aren't as tough on their regulations. Now, a wide range of food would require this warning label on new packaging to be sold in Texas under the bill, barring any changes in formulation. Things that would be included that exist right now, because of course we don't know what's going to be out there in 2027. This would include Skittles, M&Ms, Froot Loops, Mountain Dew, Nacho Cheese, Doritos, which all use synthetic dyes. BHT, which is a preservative listed in the Texas bill, is found in cereals like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It is also listed and present in deli meats, but the bill exempts foods regulated by the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service, which they oversee meat, poultry, and eggs. So this bill, let's say this was a big and beautiful Texas bill, if you will. Okay. It has so many like fallout plans and restrictions and exemptions and that I'm not sure what the final goal here is, other than just to scare the crap out of people when they try to go buy, Mountain Dew's new flavor. And it somehow says that it's not recommended for human consumption. First off, if you are a consumer of that product or brand, are you even going to read it? Because how many people actually read those Prop 65 warnings on all their products? And then
it depends on what they require for the labeling, though.
It's a good thing you asked. Good thing you asked. The bill would require the warning appear in a font size that's no smaller than the smallest text for other FDA required information. The wording would need to appear in a prominent and reasonably visible location and have sufficiently high contrast. So you can't hide it in like the mice type. Okay. As it's written, the food labeling provision in this bill casts an incredibly wide net, okay, triggering warning labels on everyday grocery items based on assertions that foreign governments have banned such items rather than on the standards established by Texas regulators or by the USDA. Okay. Now, that was a quote from some of the different like food lobbying groups. Now, one of the most commonly known food lobbying groups is called Consumer Brands Association. Okay. They are urging the governor to veto the bill. The ingredients used in the U.S. food supply are safe and have been rigorously studied following an objective science and risk-based evaluation process. The labeling requirements of this Texas SB 25 mandate inaccurate warning language, create legal risks for brands, and drive consumer confusion plus higher costs. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what are other people saying about this? Okay. So we've got a professor of marketing and applied economics at Cornell University, and they're saying that state laws have had a wider impact in the industry in the past, including a Vermont law from about a decade ago that briefly required foods to disclose the use of most genetically modified organisms.
Yeah.
Okay. So when Vermont made that law, all of a sudden you started having GMO Project. You started having all these labelings of products as GMO or contain GMO. Okay.
Okay.
This caused some companies to add the labels nationwide. And it even mentions similarly, California's Proposition 65 product warning labels have spread to some products nationwide. And so basically the same thing would happen with Texas. But so in theory, on your bottle, you would have a Prop 65 for California, GMO, not GMO, plus now a warning that says not recommended for human consumption. Could they not have come up with a better phrase?
That's a really fear-mongery type of statement,
Yes.
if we're honest. Like, because like it's just blatant fear-mongering. I have no further explanation than,
No.
hey, look at this fear-mongering. Like, why?
So I have a Mountain Dew here, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny because this does not even have the Prop 65 on it. But if this is not recommended for human consumption, who is it recommended? Like, if you're saying it's not recommended, then who is it recommended for? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically like, should we just label this as toxic waste? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's, and then are we going to start ostracizing people? Like, if we go into a convenience store and somebody picks up an item with one of these warning labels, are we then supposed to ostracize them? Do they have to wear like a little letter on their shirt that says, you know, I violated the SB 25 and I anyway?
Right. I don't know, man.
And I mean, is this not government overreach?
I absolutely think it's government overreach.
Now, if the state of Texas wants to put, you know, a ban on products with these ingredients, fine, go through that process. Okay. And notice they are banning this for everyone. It's not just the products bought on food stamps. This would affect everyone. Okay. But how are we making bleached flour the enemy of all the things on the planet that could be potentially harmful? Like if you are selling a product with rat poison in it and it had a warning that said not recommended for human consumption, that makes sense to me. Totally makes sense. I would read that and go, you know what? I am not going to eat this product that has rat poison in it. Okay. But if we're putting that label on a Little Debbie snack cake because it has bleached flour in it, that seems a little extreme to me. Now, could they change the wording of this warning to be something like, warning, this product should be consumed in moderation? That might be effective.
I would
Less
be
fear mongering there.
Yeah, 100%. For sure.
Or even like the European Union warning where it says may cause hyperactivity in children, may have an adverse effect to certain parts of the population, you know, and it says something like, please consult your physician before eating, you know, something like that. I can kind of be on that. Okay. Not fit for human consumption or not recommended for human consumption. That wording has got to change. I'm sorry. It's not a go for me at all.
Absolutely bonkers. I don't understand how you get to that. How you reach that point is beyond my recognition.
Well, and then add into the fact that there's 40 different ingredients. Okay. Yeah. But even if you just look at unbleached flour, we're talking every bread in the bread aisle would have this. So are people going to be scared to eat bread? Crackers.
Yes. Yes.
Some granola bars have flour in them. You know what I mean? Like anything of a baked variety, you know? Hell, you put meat in flour before you bread it. So now all your meat products. I would go as far as to estimate that over half of your grocery store would have this warning label on it.
Yeah.
So either it's going to be so widely seen that it's going to be laughable. Okay. That people are not going to take this seriously.
Yep.
Or, once again, you are going to confuse people and scare them from eating foods because of your ridiculous fear-mongering warning on it.
Like, we've got two things that have been smooshed together violently, right? We have like the crunchy, trying to make it a better place and eat better things, and those people, right? But the people who do it for profit and not for like the health of the
And
nation.
does anybody else notice that the political party that is all about deregulating government and getting the government the hell out of your business is now all up in your food business? Okay?
100%.
And I don't even have to point out which one that is. But let's add more regulation to your food, and then let's tell you what you can and cannot buy and what you can or cannot be recommended to eat. Doesn't that seem odd?
It's wild to me. Absolutely
This
wild.
is not the Democrats doing this, by the way, just in case you were confused, because the Democrats tried this with the Michelle Obama program, and we called them the nanny state, the nanny government that was taking away your food choices and how this was awful. But now all of a sudden, that same party that was against regulating food is not just regulating food. We're going to scare the you know what out of you about your food.
And it's such a elevated level. It's not even within reasonable accommodation.
I do have to admit, this has hit a new level to the point of laughable.
Yeah.
Okay, like literally, I had to like triple check this for accuracy
Yeah.
because I seriously was hoping that this was like a Babylon Bee thing or like a satire. No, this is real.
It's the world we live in right now. It's full of
So
chaos.
let us know down below. Do you support the new Texas bill that will label anything with unbleached flour or synthetic dyes as not recommended for human consumption? Let us know your thoughts below, and let us know if you think this is crazy pants, because I'm going with crazy pants. Let us know.